Hey, let's give it a name. Its title is converting to. Choose the input, select the view name, and add the corresponding style name. Then we added the text's font size. We set it to 16 and the line height to 24 and select the font weight as medium. Then for the color, we choose our theme color, the text under the theme color. All right, with that step fully complete, we can now move on and edit the text element located right below it, a small gray text hint. Then for the font, let's set the corresponding color. Okay, so this is about the content to be displayed on the right side when it's in progress. Next, click on our results display. It's much simpler to set up. We can just copy this image over. Let's copy the processing image as well, and then paste it right into the results display view. Then let's modify the name. Then change the data binding to our page variable. Then similarly, we can make it enlarge when clicked. Similarly, for the empty result page, what do we display? First in here, because it's empty, we can additionally set a different background color for it. Then in here, we expect to have an image and some text. Okay, this should also be centered, displayed right in the middle. Next, for the image, let's give it a name. Then the image can be directly uploaded. Next, set both the width and height of the image to 48. Next, we'll set the text for the hint. Next, we'll set a maximum width to improve styling. Next, turn on the multiple lines option. Set the text alignment to center. Set the font size to 16 and change the line height to 24. Okay, so our right side editing is complete. Now let's edit our button. Let's scroll down first. Now go ahead and click on the view that we just reserved. Let's take a moment to carefully map this out first so we're on the same page. For this setup, we are currently going to need 3 distinct states. The first state is exactly the same as the one above it. The second one is specifically designed for processing. And finally, we need one that is clickable and another one that is unclickable. Okay, similarly, we can click on the right to convert it into a conditional view container. After conversion, it moves to the very bottom, but that won't be an issue. We can easily adjust its order. Let's give this conditional view container a name. Add executing clickable and unclickable states. Okay, configuring the executing state is relatively easy to determine. The condition we need to set is based on our login. Wait, actually, let me correct that. The correct condition is that our page variable's generation status is currently set to processing. Just pay attention here. This value should ideally be exactly the same, otherwise you might run into some problems. Next, configure the click state. So when is it clickable? When all inputs are complete, like when an image is selected, style set, and the user must have a remaining balance. Okay, once we finish configuring these conditions, we can edit the UI. Similarly, we'll select all 3. Set the width to fit content. The height is set to 48, the left and right padding is 16, and the top and bottom padding is 24. Oh, sorry about that. The left and right padding is 16, and the top and bottom padding is 0. The layout inside is arranged from left to right with a gap of 8. Here we can uniformly set the cursor's display type. Next up, let's go ahead and set the border radius to a uniform value of 14. We will temporarily set the background to our primary theme color for now, and then we can always modify it later on depending on the different types. Okay, so similarly, we go back to the basic configuration is done. Let's edit its corresponding content. First, during our execution process, we hope to have a loading icon and then some text prompts. Let's first modify the outermost basic style. Next, we can go ahead and set its background opacity to 50%. Next, add the icon and text for explanation. Then the content of the text is processing. Then we can set the color to white, bold the font. Next, set the font size to 16 and 24 respectively. The line height is 24. Okay, this processing state is now complete. Similarly, we can go ahead and copy these two components. First, we can copy them to the layer below, then edit some of the styles and content inside. For example, we can change this icon, change it to our logo. Then the text can also be changed. The rest of the settings can remain unchanged. Similarly, copy this part as well and paste it into the disabled state. Set the disabled state opacity to 50. Okay, this way users will know it can't be clicked. Upload it again. The network might be slow. Okay, so our basic UI setup is completely finished. Next, we can move on to configuring our action flow. Since we will be utilizing AI for this specific transformation project, we'll first need to click and create a new agent. As you can see on the screen, there are two main input parameters we need to define here. The first parameter is the image source, and the second is our type ID, also known as the style ID. Then we can first edit our basic descriptions for this agent here, its role, its goals, and its constraints. Since the style is uploaded via the database, we can click Data here under Contexts, select the style, and click on our corresponding prompt. Then, next to this style, you'll see three dots. Click them to add a filter here. For this setup, we only need to retrieve a single record, so we'll filter it directly by the unique ID. You can also add a custom name for the input here if you'd like. Next, we'll select the model type. We need an image generation model. Next, modify the name of this AI. Next, click Action Flow. Here we can create and name a new flow. Okay, the input here will be a bit more complex. First, since we're using AI, we need to enable async execution. Then click Input. We have several items to add. The first one is definitely our style ID. Then another one is our image, original image. We also need global action flow variables. One is to determine whether it's completed, set the type to Boolean. One is the error message. And one is the final image we generate. Select image for the type. First, we need to set our global variable. We'll initialize its success status to false. Next, let's go ahead and name this action. Next, add a condition to ensure all input parameters have values. Here we add that the input style is not null and the original image ID is also not null. Then in another branch, it will be missing inputs. No condition is needed here. If the first fails, it takes this path. Let's set the error message. Okay, let's go back to the path we were just on. We've already confirmed it has inputs. So now we need to check if there is money in the account. First, let's get the current user ID. Then here we'll decrease their balance by 1. Remember to modify the corresponding node name. Okay, once set up, add a conditional check with a filter where the ID equals the current account ID selected earlier. Okay, then we need a condition check to see if they still have credits. After deduction, the credit balance must be at least 0. The other branch is for insufficient credits. For insufficient credits, first refund the user. We decreased it earlier, so use increase to add 1 back. Similarly, set the ID to the current account ID from getID. Then we need to configure its error message here. The message will indicate no more generation attempts are available. Then back to our path with credits. We have now verified they have sufficient credits, so we can start generating. Not only do they have it, we've already deducted it. We can run AI. The image is the original input image. The ID is our configured input ID. Once generated, we'll need to add a record. Similarly, we're going to go ahead and select our original input image right here in this designated field. Now, the AI model typically outputs an array containing multiple generated images. However, we actually only need to extract and use the very first image from that list. So to isolate that specific image, let's go ahead and select our formula tool. From there, we can directly search for the first item function to grab exactly what we need. Select Start Images, set account ID to current account ID, and style to input style ID. Then, after updating, we need to set our action flow variable. First, let's change is success to true. Then assign a value to the result image. The value is the output image of the result we just inserted. finally our three outputs. Next, set the success variable and error message. It's our error message variable. Finally, our result image. Set the type to image and the variable to result image. Our action flow configuration is complete. Let's go back to our page. Okay, back on our clickable conditional view container click action, we have a few things to set up here. First, we need to change our state to processing. Secondly, we need to start our action flow. Next, select the action flow that we just created. Since we have successfully confirmed that the user has enough credits available, we can go ahead and add an action right here to proceed with deducting those credits. Now, let's define what happens upon a successful action. Right over here, we need to go ahead and set our page variable to update the state. For the first step, let's modify our status property and we'll want to change its value to completed so we can track its progress. Along with that, we'll also modify our result image variable. We can easily set this up by extracting the generated image directly from the action flow's result data. Next, refresh current user data. Credits and history depend on the logged in user, so refresh this. If it fails, set status to failed. Then add a pop-up to explain why it failed. Select error message. Then here we need to add a condition. Add a condition to check if it's successful. If successful, we paste these actions first. Then delete the extra ones. Success checks if this action flow value is true. Then if it fails, it sets the current status to failed. Then adds a pop-up to tell the user the reason for the failure. Similarly, it's our variable error message. That's how you initiate an AI style transfer and charge users.